Next, I take a lot of pleasure in introducing our Director of the Geological Survey South Australia, Dr. Bronwyn Camac. Bronwyn has over 30 years in the oil and gas industry with roles as a geologist and in leadership. And her expertise spans digital log data management, operations geology in both conventional and unconventional oil and gas and development. So now as Director of South Australia's Geological Survey, she leads efforts in mineral and energy exploration. So please join me in welcoming Bronwyn to the stage.
Well, thank you everyone for coming. We've got a great crowd and we're really excited to be here today to show you what we're doing in the Geological Survey. So my name is Bronwyn Camac and I'm the Director of the Geological Survey. And I want to thank Carol for his presentation. It was very informative. I hope you guys all feel you have a little bit more information around the RAP initiative from GA at the moment. So we, the Geological Survey, always really enjoy working with our National Geological Survey, and we are very much looking forward to partnering with GA well into the future. So, what's the Geological Survey? The Geological Survey is people. So this slide here shows a number of photographs through the year taken. They're fun photographs, they're people in the field, they're people doing geology out in the core library. Just give you a snapshot of the kind of activities that we do. But we've had a huge year of not only continuing adding quality data and information from our exploration partners, but acquiring new geoscientific data and creating new technical insights from our huge accumulation of pre-competitive geoscience information. Post the big restructure of our department, the team grew as it welcomed our energy geoscience team into the Geological Survey, and we're very excited to have them there. As part of this change, Eleanor Alexander, who many of you know and who has been the spearhead of energy resources in South Australia for nearly 40 years, has decided to finish her role with the department. We all thank her for her stewardship, her friendship, and her unwavering passion for the petroleum, geothermal, and more recently, natural hydrogen sector. Hopefully we'll see Eleanor again very soon as she continues her service as an expert consultant to the industry and to the department as well. And as you've most likely heard, we have yet another big change coming our way very soon, and that is our deep relationship with Dr. Paul Hethersay is coming to an end. After an incredible career with the South Australian public sector as our Chief Executive of the Department for Energy and Mining. Paul is at the very heart of the Geological Survey in South Australia, and the survey is very much in Paul's heart. We have the utmost respect for Paul and we'll miss him very much. Thank you for everything, Paul, and we wish you well in everything that comes next for you. So when I came into this role nearly 2 years ago, I've worked with a leadership philosophy which really only has two big rocks. We'll see up there, if anyone's done the Covey training, you'll understand what I mean by two big rocks. So these are in priority. You might think that I'm going to talk about geology and data acquisition and everything, but I'm not. There's two big rocks here when you're looking after a big group that's delivering so much, and that is its people. The first one is recruitment. We recruit quality people, fit for purpose, they understand why they are there, and if your team is under-resourced, it's suffering. And the second big rock is just the focus on our people. It's the people who deliver, and quality team needs support, respect, development opportunities. They deserve to feel valued for their huge contribution. Yes, we pay a fee for service, we call it a salary, but in reality, what we're asking people is to dedicate their very valuable lives to apply their skills and intelligence to solving problems and serving the South Australian public. We deliver because we have great people. Not only is it great people, we have the best people. So now I'll talk to you about what the people that do the work, but really why we're here. For those of you, and we do have some new people coming in from the energy geoscience space, and it's probably really good to sort of go back over what we are here for as Geological Survey, and that is to facilitate and accelerate discovery of resources. We provide high quality and environmentally safe future for South Australians. We do this through high-quality geoscientific investigations and being the custodians of South Australian geological data and information, otherwise known as pre-competitive data. You've heard from Carol, this is how we call it these days, but really what it is our geology, our data and our insights. We are the only geoscientific body in South Australia which sits between government, industry and research. We are proud to offer our world-class delivery service via SARIG, PEPS and the Drill Core Library. We also work with many stakeholders, and we have someone very special here today who has been working with some of us on her project, and it's with great pleasure that we welcome Lee Harrop to Discovery Day. She'll be speaking to you later on after lunch, and I think about her work in the context of where art and geology collide. So I'm sure you'll be interested to hear her after lunch. So let me tell you a bit about what we've been doing over the last year, and it's quite a lot. This year's Discovery Day, we're looking at the trends, but geoscience underpins it. I'm basically looking here in this presentation of looking back at what we've done over the time and also how we're assimilating that information and looking forward. This slide here shows you what we're doing in the Gawler Craton. So we all know that it's highly prospective for so many base metals and critical elements needed by a modern society, and has been and will continue to be a huge focus for the Geological Survey. The team working on the South Australian Discovery Mapping Project are furiously interpreting new structural elements and using modern techniques to integrate all available geological data to develop high resolution geological maps across different time slices, bringing so many new insights, which we're excited to share. And we know this will underpin many new discoveries in the future. Here on the slide here, and Paul talked about it earlier in his talk, is some of the work that Rashid Abdullah has been working on. So please come to the session after lunch, where he will talk about his new structural mapping work in the Mount Woods domain. Rare earths, mineral sands and uranium can be found in sedimentary depositional environments. You'll hear later from Ba Hong Hu showing you his work where he's been extending his interpretation of paleo channels into the northwestern Gawler Craton. Understanding present day and structural history of a region is fundamental to understanding highly valuable mineral systems containing iron ore, gold, silver, critical elements, the list goes on. In session 4, Dr. Anna Petz will talk to you about groundbreaking research into Cretaceous glaciation and its implication for uranium emplacement from our Bulletin 57, released last year by Steve Hoare and Neville Alley. In this session, you'll also hear from Frank Rarity on his work on the aeromag interpretation of the Noitz domain, and hang in there to the end to hear Dr. Alex Van Leeuwen's focus on gold in the central western Gawler Craton, which is delivering some really interesting insights. Sam Connell is here today, and his team have been making huge inroads into developing the new digital explanatory notes, lovingly known in the GSSA as the DEN team. This part of the Saturn project will support and underpin the new digital maps and provide a modern, future-facing delivery mechanism for South Australian geology. Sam will speak to you more about this first up in the next session. Paul talked to you a little bit about the NDI program. With still the focus on the Gawler Craton, Dr. Claire Wade will present on the National Drilling Initiative in conjunction with the MINAC CRC program in the northern Gawler Craton near Cooper Pedy. This is a new pre-competitive geoscience data acquisition program where we are mapping with the rig, gaining critical information to ground truth our geophysical models. The information gained will help future exploration programs by tagging depth to basement and providing analytical data and insights to stimulate exploration in this underexplored area of the Craton. Magnetite is getting a lot of attention, and Paul mentioned it, and I didn't know that story about how that came to the Premier's attention, so that was a really interesting story, Paul, thank you. It's obviously now we're working quite a lot on our magnetite resources in the state, which is feeding information into the green iron steel strategy that is currently going around the traps and getting a lot of feedback from industry on that at the moment. SA's magnetite resources have now grown to over 19 billion tonnes, which is an 18% resource growth since 2018, which was the last time there was been some geoscientific work done on that resource. Learning more about our magnetite ore bodies will help provide the industry feedstock for decades to come, and needed to achieve this important part of the state's prosperity plan. To achieve this, the GSSA has engaged Amira to undertake an independent global comparison study so that we can demonstrate the quantity and quality of our magnetite on the world stage. Excuse me. As part of our ongoing research, Dr. Mario Werner will be helping us to achieve a deeper understanding of the middleback ranges, metasediments, by taking us through age relationships with other rocks of the Eyre Peninsula in his talk later in the day. Mario's insights may help unlock even more iron ore on the central Eyre Peninsula. The Critical Minerals Geoscience project team has now delivered over 17 products in this last year alone, with more still on its way. Excuse me. God. New analytical data sets acquired from legacy core held in our world-class drill core library and from 6 high-graded mine waste sites across the state has been acquired. All available reports are available via SARIC, but not only that, the team has also developed exciting Power BI dashboards to deliver data on critical minerals directly to our customers. Check out the short, snappy videos that the team has put together to explain how they delivered their work. Both can be accessed via our website. In the next talk, you'll hear from Dr. Carmen Krupp, who will update you on some exciting opportunities on magnesium and manganese. And after lunch, you'll hear from Dr. Mitchell Bockman on his work uncovering South Australia's potential for rare earth elements, hosted in carbonatites. Okay, energy geoscience. There's no better place than South Australia to ring true the old saying in the petroleum industry that there's no better place to find oil than in an oil field. Whilst this might sound obvious, it holds up for all types of accumulations. And as we dive deeper into the resource pyramid, exploration and production gets more technically difficult. There's a huge opportunity by looking differently at our fields and more regionally in basins, increasing flow rates, improving recovery factors in existing fields and finding new opportunities. They need not be separate actions between conventional and unconventional. In my mind, it's not do this, then do that, and then when you run out of options, do the really hard stuff. We should be combining all of our thinking, our experience, and be really open-minded about what's possible out there in our oil and gas industry. A great example is the Moomba gas field. It was discovered in 1966, nearly 60 years ago, and is truly a magic pudding. Not only does it continue to produce natural gas from its conventional reservoirs, it also produces from the basement granite wash clay. The industry has relied on natural permeability of clastic reservoirs for over 60 years to deliver commercial gas and oil reserves. These are the ones at the top of the resource pyramid, the easy stuff. But the Cooper Basin is actually a huge succession of coal measures. These thick Permian coals are the source rock for all of the oil and gas in the basin. What if we could produce the residual gas from these source rocks? It would be a game changer. After all, they've been sitting there in plain sight all this time. Proven producers, so it's time to go and get it. Behind all the new discoveries and the production improvement lies good geology, the ideas, the search for data and information in the old records and the new has been the focus for the Geological Survey to help our industry keep whirling around that resources pyramid. So our petroleum geologists have been flat-strapped this year, building on existing knowledge and working up new ideas on the prospectivity of our valuable sedimentary basins. In effect, looking for gas hiding in plain sight, such as natural hydrogen, and uncovering new petroleum systems. To the southeast of the state, we have the Otway Basin, which continues to also deliver petroleum exploration and gas storage potential, with a new petroleum source kitchen discovered by our geologists only last year. And you saw Paul put up a really nice picture of what the work that Chris and Sharon and Paul and the team have been doing there. A new acreage release in the Otway will be happening in the first part of 2025, so please keep your eye on that. Sharon Tianen will be spending some time after morning tea showing us her work on the new Otway Basin play, followed by Paul Strong, who will be taking us through best practice petroleum play mapping using his work as the Otway Basin as a case study example. Our state is a focus for active exploration in natural hydrogen and helium, with some very exciting recent announcements from the Ramsay project on the Yorke Peninsula. And later in this session, Dr. Chris Cubitt will be giving us an update on this new play and what's going on in natural hydrogen exploration in South Australia. Iron ore, copper, gold, or IOCG deposits underpin the state's economy. You heard that from Paul's talk earlier, delivering $138.8 million US dollars into royalties in the last year from BHP's Copper South Australia project. This encompasses the three big mines in the Olympic domain in the eastern Gawler Craton, with future mining developments to feed copper, gold, uranium to the world. The GSSA is a key collaborator on developing copper strategy for the state. We see copper as a key metal underpinning the green transition, and South Australia is well placed to deliver, leading to increased prosperity for all South Australians. We plan to continue with our junior explorers and our majors to drive value from our digital and drill core data sets. Earlier this year, Adrian Fabrice released a very important report where he and his co-author, Bernd Michelson, have investigated the breadth of alteration mineralogy and mineralisation styles in key IOCG reference drill holes stored at the core library. This study is a great example of bringing the information together in a readily consumable way, cutting time and costs for our explorers looking for this deposit style. The Curnamona province is another region where we believe is highly prospective for IOCG deposits, and we welcome Dr. Tobias Schlegel from the CSIRO here today, who will tell us about his research into whether the IOCG mineral system really is active in this interesting region. And of course, sedimentary copper is another prospective mineral system active in South Australia. And Adrian will join us just before lunch to wrap up the GSSA's sedimentary copper project in the Stuart Shelf for you. Uranium is hot, literally, and we have been looking at how we can help facilitate growth in this sector. One of the ways we can do this is through the work of Steve Hoare. He is often on hand, out in the field, teaching, leading mapping expeditions, and sharing his deep knowledge of sedimentary uranium deposits. I, for one, am very much looking forward to hearing from Steve later in the day, where he'll speak about using his field experience to fine-tune uranium exploration models. And we just can't go past talking about what's happening and exciting developments out in the core library. The Woodall Lab is situated in the core library, and this is where our high logger technology exists. So we restarted the Woodall Lab in May after quite a long period of time where we updated the work health and safety improvements in the lab. And since that time, since May, just really only half a year, we have scanned over 17,000 metres of core from a variety of areas across the state, mainly focused on GSSA projects. You can see here on the map, all the red dots are the new core. This is the new data that's been added just in the last 6 months. This has included data from the Critical Minerals Project, the Northern Gawler in preparation for the NDI project, the Magnetite project, and supporting the Green Iron strategy in that way, and IOCG work and the ADI. We are also moving into scanning more petroleum core and supporting basin prospectivity team in their work by providing high logger data to be integrated into their current workflow. All data we process is uploaded to the National Virtual Core Library and SARIG and is available for you to download. If you're interested in downloading our high logger data from across the state, there's now a new simple service for this, the NVCL cache. We can't go past, Paul mentioned the new machine that's just arrived in South Australia. We're all very excited about this. This is our new HighLogger 4. This is the 4th generation machine that the government has been investing in this technology that was developed by the CSIRO. It's now been commercialised into CoreScan, which is owned by Epiroc. And for a couple of years now, we've been very anxious to get hold of this machine, and it's finally arrived. It's been installed, it's working, and we're very, very excited about what this machine is going to do for our geological data going forward. Over the next 6 months, we'll be in a testing phase and transitioning into production. We'll be replacing all of our HighLogger 1 and 2 data with HighLogger 4 data across the state, as well as continuing with our HighLogger 3 machine. We're going to keep both in production. Dr. Alicia Caruso is heading up this program, and she's here today to give you all an update on this new machine and how it will be used by us to digitise key core and cutting samples at the library, and an overview of our exciting new hyperspectral data and uses in exploration for both minerals and in energy geoscience. And the jewel in the crown certainly is our drill core library. Our drill core library doesn't just have a new sign, well, we think at last, but it has increased its service output this year by an average of 45% across all of these aspects here on the graph. That's a huge increase in productivity from the core library, from David, John, Dale, Mark and new Nick out there. So if you're out in the core library, please say hi to the team. They work very, very hard out there, and we're very proud of what they deliver year on year to the industry. SARIG continues to deliver to our exploration community with 3 new discoveries directly attributing to their success to the work of the GSSA. Data and information used to make a new discovery in natural hydrogen and helium was from information collected back in the 1930s. With the new uranium discovery from information collected in 1944, and not only that, Petrotherm's recent announcement of their new titanium discovery was directly attributed to the core and information stored within our core library and delivered via SARIG. So just a few examples how even year on year, the work that we do is really turning the needle, and we're very proud. Not only our physical samples, but our geophysical products are also moving ahead. So here you'll see the whole estate grid merge is now being complete for our magnetics. And the team has released earlier this year a full report and also the grids. The report outlines the history of magnetic data acquisition through time. It provides the post-processing and merge scripts and delivers a detailed pictorial atlas and shapefiles. If you'd like more detail, please track down Phil Heath, Gary Reid and Tim Keeping for a chat. And while I'm speaking of geophysics, Tom Wise will be giving a super interesting talk this morning using deep crustal seismic and MT data to underpin the structural history of East and South Australia. I'll be finished very soon. This is the last slide. So to end my presentation, I want to give you some information on the Core Intelligence Program, which is forming a very important and significant part of GSSA's digital strategy. This is the looking forward part. This is where we start future-proofing our data and our core library and everything that we do. When complete, the intent of this program is to provide a digital platform from which you as an explorer, developer, researcher, student, artist, or any interested person are able to view, interrogate and download digital information which is currently in its physical form. This includes drill core, thin sections, drill cuttings, as just an example. Data added into this program, of course, includes geochemistry, geochronology, high-resolution core photography, and spectral data as well, and may not be limited to that. That's how we're initially starting with. This project will expand South Australia's global leadership by mining and transforming the physical resource of the core library into a virtual digital library that can be accessed anytime from anywhere across the world. We have funding for the first 2 pillars of this project. You'll see there the 2 dots coloured in green. They're the first 2 funded parts of this project, and this will set us up and future-proof our data delivery service. We'll be working with the regulators to standardise data submissions, to minimise time taken to get important data out to the public domain and increase the digitisation of South Australia's legacy data into machine-readable form. This is an exciting program which will happen over the next few years, with a pilot area to be delivered over our highly prospective copper domain as a standalone product, but also to demonstrate scalability. So stay tuned on this one as we progress. So I hope you are as excited to hear about all the amazing presentations as I am, and thank you very much for your time today.